Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creator Notes podcast, the podcast where we get up close and personal with your favorite creators and talk about all things content and creating. Today we have, we have the one, I'm going to say the one and only and world's number one spokesperson for pineapples everywhere. It's Pavlovaface. Hello, Pav. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Well,
do you know what's amazing? Yeah, do you know what's amazing? Even if I didn't intro you as anything else, to just say, "Oh, it's the number one pineapple hype fan," everyone will know who I'm talking about. So.
the branding on that has definitely gotten away from me. It started off as like a fun little joke on the side that I'll be like, come up with something better down the line. It has taken over my life.
No, it's done.
Absolutely.
It's done. Do you like pineapples? Like, is that?
Controversial. Yes. Look, I take it. I enjoy it. I'm not going to say no, but it's maybe not as much as I let on.
Fair. Oh no. Oh man, that was like 1 minute in. We got him. Got him. Oh man, it's funny. It's sort of the same. Look, I'll be honest. I'll come clean. Like, I'm kind of sick of bacon. So, so yeah, I don't know. There's only so many. But you know, it's fun. It's fun. It happens. I'm sure it comes in waves, right? It'll come back.
Absolutely.
But
it has kind of evolved into now people giving me pineapple gifts, which I have absolutely adored. You see my back. Oh no, they're not there. But I have like pineapple ornaments across my house. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we did an episode with NJ Highways, which I think he's just had a bit of a rebrand, but like he's the dinosaur guy, and one of the things that we brought up was like everyone just sends him every dinosaur meme or product that they see. Is it the same with you for like pineapple stuff? Yeah.
Yes, and like people like, I feel like some people might grow to get annoyed at that, but I love it so much. It's like, oh god, the brand is working. The brand is working. It's alive. That's good. It's such a meme, and it's like such a cool way to encourage like engagement and activity with the community. Is like self-running.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a brand, like, and a lot of people, and I mean, just looking at my background at the moment, a lot of people are like, you should rebrand to Zombies Love Pizza, because I do, and it's like, and then there are actually like, there's a lot of pizza kind of merchandise. Like there was a pizza PS5, which I would have loved that. That would be great.
That'd be real cool. Yeah, and talking about brand, like I kind of lucked out with pineapples because like they're so popular in like the clothing industry. Like
True.
every season I buy like another 4 pineapple shirts, and like if like I was like this close to being branding myself as avocados, and this avocado clothing, I would have been ruined. I mean, absolutely ruined. And it's all a matter of luck. I don't know how to tell you, but I'm very lucky the amount of pineapple content out there.
we should probably talk. Where does the name come from? Because it is like, yeah, it's Pavlovaface.
Pavlovaface is my handle on every social media because my name is actually Pav.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so that's kind of the simple answer. But actually, like when growing up, I actually hated. People used to call me Pavlova and absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And it was like just a moment in time. It clicked. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the name Pavlova. And then I ran with it, and it's now my preferred identity across the board.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, yeah. Because I just assumed that you like Pavlovas. I mean, who wouldn't? Pavlovas are delicious.
Another hot take. Not a fan of meringue.
Oh, what?
I'm living a lie. Oh God. Look.
I don't know when this turned into a gotcha podcast, but
this episode is gonna come out, and people will be like, "This man is a fraud." I cut it all out. I love Pavlova. I love pineapple.
We'll just edit it in. Oh my Lord. So let's go back to like how long have you been in content creation? I've known you for a few years now. But it's like, when did you get? It's been years.
I got into, so streaming was my first step into content.
Yeah.
It was, I think, around 2016, 17.
Okay. Yep.
Was my start, and it it's always kind of in the back of my head as like, see people doing content, but it was like never something I'd think I'd get into until like a group of friends were like, let's do a Nuzlocke on Twitch. It was a Pokemon Emerald randomized Nuzlocke. We did it as a group on stream on a separate channel. We like had this grand ideas of starting a group channel, like a lot of people I'm sure do. Yeah, and that lasted all of a month. And I got the bug. I got the itch. I was like, ooh. All my free time I was just like sitting on OBS, sitting on like researching like streams and like getting into it. The game I was playing heavily at the time was Warframe, so I got I dove into the Warframe community, Warframe stream community,
which are huge. Like I've had a glimpse of Warframe, and then they turn up. They turn up. It's nuts. And a lot of people forget that game is still going so strong. It's insane.
Actively updated for 11 years, dude.
11 years. 11 doing years what Destiny can't.
It is unreal the amount of like how active that game is. Like I played again for the first time in months yesterday, and I was like, damn, this game is so much to do.
Still going. Yeah, it's smoothly. Crazy. So Warframe was like the gateway. You found a community. You got into streaming content.
Yeah. So the first couple of years was definitely Warframe centered and build my community around that.
Yep. So at what point did you sort of go, this is great, but I kind of want to get into like other mediums and other sort of stuff outside of just live streaming and that sort of stuff?
I think around like maybe 4 or 5 years ago is like, because like realistically, I never saw streaming as like a career or anything for me. It was like always just something I really enjoyed. Like I've literally always called myself a hobbyist streamer. Like I've never been nothing more, nothing less. It's just a cool medium to create content and fill my time to hang out with people who want to watch the stuff that I'm doing, which is pretty cool. Yeah. I think maybe 3 years ago, it was like the idea of I'm doing it. If I don't like go all out and try and achieve what my potential is in the space and just move on, I'll regret it. So I was like, all right, let's do some Instagram. Let's do some like be more engaging on Twitter. Not that I'm like only in the last like few months I've actually started to actually do daily content and whatnot. But I really only in the last few years I've tried to navigate all the platforms in a more tactful way, I guess you could call it a tactful way. But at the same time, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of figuring I should be doing it. Just having a go. And just enjoying them. It's
funny you say that because it's like I've had conversations and even just in this last week with like people that, oh man, I really want to get into like TikTok or I want to do more Instagram. It's like, yeah, just do it. That's the actual answer. Yeah,
literally, and that is all it was. And it's been years of saying I want to do this. I know I need to do this. Trying to think of content, and then it's all it's taken is like just doing it to start doing it regularly. So it's crazy how simple it is, and that I kind of knew how simple it was, and just still never did it.
It's just that barrier. You just got to break the barrier. Yeah, and like I came from. And we're just talking about this on the previous episode, but it's like I came from like the golden age when Instagram was just photos and you know, and like you do your hashtags and everything else, and people, and it's just like it's all very organic. Where now it's kind of fallen into that Facebook realm of there's all sorts of stuff all interconnected and goes everywhere. But like my thing was like just setting challenges, like we'll take a photo a day and just post it, and then and because of that, sometimes the photo would be like my coffee. It's like, but. People like that because they like the you know, they might not be able to catch your streams or watch your YouTube video or whatever, but they will, as they're scrolling on their lunch break, see that you're having a coffee and they're like, man, I feel like coffee. I like this. And away they go. And it's just that connecting kind of thing. And I think that's where, and particularly when I sort of think of the sort of stuff that you've been doing, particularly in the last few years, right? People look at your stuff and go, God damn, Pav's having fun. Like, I want to do that.
Well, that's kind of it. Is like I'm just trying to live my life and live in this space without regret. And like I'm taking any opportunity that's thrown at me and just doing what I can to have as much fun with it as I can. And I'm really grateful and I'm very fortunate that I've like managed to have so many opportunities line up because once again, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's just I think it's just a matter of people seeing the content out there, and then when it lines up another opportunity somehow. And I wish I could like people ask for advice, but I wish I could give advice, but I don't really know what I'm doing to line some of these things up. But I've been very, very, very fortunate.
So, I mean, look, people will obviously ask for, how do you get into this sort of stuff? But like, what things do you think that you've done that's worked for you?
Yeah.
Like what did you go, oh man, that was the right thing to do. That worked out,
So look, I'll give you a weird answer because kind of a lot of my platform changed around COVID. Because I used to go to a weekly quiz night with some friends every week. COVID happened, all that shut down, and one of my friends in our like weekly group were like, "Hey, why don't you host one on Twitch?" I was like, I've never done that. That sounds interesting. Which started my Pav's Weekly Trivia on Twitter. Yeah. I did that for many, many months. And then because of that, when lockdowns were all over, my friend who runs Respawn, which is an after party community, after party group that does like nerdy parties with like games in the club, and I think Glitch. It's not like Glitch has one in.
Glitch has one in Melbourne. Yeah.
So but similar sort of thing. And my friend Frankie, he was like, "Why don't you do a quiz at the club?" I was like, "That sounds like a dumb idea, but sure, I'll do it. Let's give
Sounds
it
like a great idea."
Let me tell you, it was absolutely a dumpster fire. I wrote like 20 questions. I went up, and there was no structure. I was like, "Frankie, did people need answer sheets?" And he was like, "Nah, just here's a mic and just talk to them." I was like, this is not what I want.
Okay.
Look, no structure at all. It was really weird, but it was fun, and people really enjoyed it. And he was like, "Pav, we'd have a cosplay comp we do most months. Why don't you get into that? What do you want to host?" I was like, "Okay, let's do that." And then that became my monthly hosting gig while not being a host. So I did that, and I was like, man, this is like a step into like public speaking, which is something I really need to improve on. Because I mentioned to you before we went live, like I struggled a lot with public speaking, and like I was on a similar kind of interview podcast many years ago, and I absolutely bombed. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm saying things I don't want to say, and good Lord, I don't know what's going on. And like I reflect on that a lot of the time, because that like put the fire under my belly to like focus on improving, which is I think is a big aspect of the advice I tend to try and give to people, because I think that's the core of what drives me is like it's more the drive to try and be better than I was yesterday, and every opportunity I get is do as much as I can, but try and learn from that experience as much as I can, which I think has transitioned into quite a. It's crazy to think I've been doing this for a couple of years now. It's developed quite a good understanding on like what I want to do next, and I think having that vision as well, a vision of what I want to achieve, and learning from the experiences is kind of how to answer the question I think you asked. I've forgotten it a while.
No, you got it. You're doing it. It's good. It's like, and it's. Yeah, you're so right, man. And I remember vividly. I remembered vividly that moment for me when I was, because like I was streaming. I've been streaming and content creation too long, way too long. I don't want to age myself. But it was like, and I was always like, I don't want to be on camera. I hate the way I look. I hate the way I sound. Let the game. I'll just do cool gameplay stuff. People love games, so that'll be fine. And it was actually through my day job where I got roped in. I wanted to be in film and television, and then I couldn't get into that role. So then I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take whatever pays at this point. And then I went and worked for a hardware store, and then just by sheer coincidence, that hardware store became the filming location for The Block. So then I went, I don't want to be in film and television. I'm going to be in a hardware store and be on film and television.
So cool.
Yeah, and then once you are like in your least glamorous way, like you're at work, you're tired, your hair's a mess, and then you come and shove a camera in you, and then they beam that to 2.6 million people. You go, you know what? It's not that bad if 12 people see my face on Twitch. So, and that was it. From that moment, I don't care. Like, I've done it. I've done like no one cared that I was on TV. No one cared. True.
And then it's like that very similar to my moment where I like realized that my stage fright was non-existent is when I was starting to MC events. I like had a thought. I was like thinking back. It's like trying to think of any MC at any event ever. I can't think of any. So even if I do a shit job, they ain't gonna remember me.
They don't care.
And like that feeling of like no
We
risk.
cracked it. We cracked it.
Absolutely broke the ceiling, and it was like, man, I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, that's it. And then from there, and I know you do this really well, and I know there's a lot of creators that struggle with this, but it's like, and it's that whole, if you get presented an opportunity, so like you go to an event or whatever, the amount of people that go, oh, I went to this cool event, it's a bit awkward though, I didn't take any pictures or whatever. It's like, take fucking pictures, do anything. Doesn't matter if you're an absolute nuisance, because no one cares. Like if they have like a photo wall and whatever, and there's a little kid in the way, just kick the kid out of the way, and you go there and you get those photos, do all the content, do all the silly shit. When they're like, hey, get your face painted or whatever, do it. Don't be shy. Don't back off, because these like. And the thing is that people that are running these events, they do all this work for people to do this stuff.
Yeah.
They want, and the people that are doing this stuff, they're the ones that are going to be like invited back, or they're going to be noticed and stuff like that, because they go, oh man, we spent all this money to bring this person in, and no one used it. What a waste or whatever. And I got a great example right here. This. Well, if I can get it there, that is a real tattoo from Mad Max, because they had a tattoo artist at the Mad Max premiere.
So cool.
And they're like, oh man, they've spent all this money, they've got all these tattoo artists and stuff like that. I'm gonna do it. Why not? That's cool.
Yeah,
and the amount of people and like the stuff that I met, and like just because I was doing the activity and there was so many people, standing in the back corner sipping on their beer, and they're like, they're not making the most of the occasion. And it's that it is that whole, I've discovered that no one really cares if you're the idiot that goes up and gets a tattoo. Like, they don't really care, but the people that matter, and the people that they're like, oh, this person does tattoos, this is cool, and it's just that thing. And I see it like a great example is like recently when we had DreamHack and stuff like that. Everywhere I saw you're doing something. Like, I never saw you sitting in the corner or nothing like that. You either had the camera out or had a microphone in your hand. Like, literally every single time.
Let me tell you, there was a heavy portion of Saturday that I was crumbling in a corner after a very big Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night was, yeah.
And then that's the thing, is like I made the effort to try and get myself to Melbourne, like to go be at DreamHack, because it was not an event I planned to, like, I had foreplanned like a year ago, so I haven't saved for it until very, very close to the date. So I was on a budget, and I was like, I'm doing all of this to get myself here. I'm gonna take every opportunity to
100%.
Make the absolute most that I can, and like I'm gonna pump content. Like, I'm gonna do all the things that I always say I'm gonna do, and then not quite meet my expectations. I'm gonna do as much as I can, and I'm like, for the first event I've ever been to, I can say I did as much content as I could at an event. And I'm quite proud of myself, because that never happens. Never happens.
It was like, and like, I've been to DreamHack. This is the third DreamHack. Every DreamHack it's some people are like, oh, it's twice. It's more than twice the size. It's wow. That is like a 300% increase year on year, that event, and it's nuts. And we don't know what the next one's going to look like, because it's like, it was a lot. And the big talking point for me and a lot of my friends and stuff, who obviously, a lot of us are from Melbourne and stuff, so it's like kind of spoiled. Yeah, I'm not bragging, but but like, it's like the coolest thing for us was like, it's going to be so many creators there, because when they started spruiking, they're going to invite 500 plus creators, and they did like 600 plus in the end. I was like, there's going to be people filming vlogs everywhere. There's going to be cosplay everywhere. There's going to be so many panels. And it was like bloody Disneyland for content creators, and it's amazing. Yeah. And to see so many people actually taking up the opportunity to do shit, and like the amount of people with microphones doing interviews and stuff like that is so cool. And even last year, there was maybe like a 10th of that sort of energy. And the year before that, there was none of that energy. Like, it was nothing. It was just, you turned up, and DreamHack was esports, to the point where like all the corridors were empty. Like, everyone was in the stadium watching esports, and the only time they came out was to get food and water, and then they'd go back in. And then you flip it around to what we had this year, and it was like creator mecca. And it's amazing, because the amount of people that are like, either grabbed the ticket late and came, and they're like, they are creators, but they didn't get a creator pass, because they're like, it's not a big deal, don't worry about it. And then they got there and like, fuck, it is a big deal. And it's just gonna get bigger. And then, but you're right, the way that DreamHack kind of snuck up on everyone as being more of a festival rather than just an esports event it's incredible. So, but it was good. Like, I I'm okay. I am okay with the amount that I did for DreamHack, but at the same time, it's all a blur, and I don't really remember anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad I can go back and actually look at all the stuff I
Yeah.
did and some people I saw. It's really, really cool.
yeah, and for me, a lot of it's like if it wasn't captured on film, I don't remember it happening.
Exactly.
But it's cool, and then obviously we get PAX is the other big one on the calendar, but that's kind of like we know roughly what PAX is going to be like, and sort of what to plan for and stuff like that. How that sort of is shaped by what's going on with like DreamHack, but remains to be seen. But I know from my point of view, like it's about not just going to the actual event itself, but it's all the people and things like panels and connecting and collaborating with other creators and stuff like that is a kind of a big thing for me personally. Do you find it like from your perspective? Obviously, it's a commitment because you're on the West Coast, so it's a commitment to come to Melbourne.
It's a good trek. It takes a bit of planning. No, that's not too bad. But yeah, I love PAX purely for the fact that PAX acts as a little like a reflection point for me in my like creative ambitions. Because my first ever PAX was 2019, where I was like just very freshly into the Twitch space and content and streaming space. And I remember being immersed and like going to the Team Os meetup. And just getting to know everyone there. And then my next one, of course, was 2022, 23.
Yeah.
When did we come back? 2023, 2022. One of them.
Two, I think.
And having a flip because this was the first. That was the first year I had the opportunity to like be more involved with PAX. Like I was like hanging around booths, doing some stuff with like orgs and companies and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then even more so the year after that. And it's just like, it's a cool reflection point on like being able to like base where how far I've come, how far I've gone, and like
legit.
what other things I want to do. So I'm really really excited for this year because like I'm already like in like all of those sort of stuff kind of happened in the last few weeks in lead up to PAX. Whereas here it's like now I'm planning things for PAX for the first time, and I'm like really excited.
And that's cool. And you're right. And for so many creators, it's like and. I hear a lot of like people going like, oh, if I get onto a panel, I've made it, and or if I get to do a man of booth, I've made it and stuff like that. And like I think last year, I don't know, last year was such a blur for me. But it's like I got invited to a couple booths and stuff like that, and when I got to the booth, I'm like, yeah, so what do you need me to do? Like, oh, we just want you to hang out. I'm like, wow, okay. We're at that, okay. And I'm like, me? Are you sure? But it is. You're right. And like I've been to every PAX, so I've been a very long time. And like I can remember the first PAX and being there and just not knowing anything and knowing nothing about anything at all, and just being lost, just fucking duck out of water, just hanging out going, I don't know what any of these people are. And it's like, and I look back at it now, and there's people that I met, just sheer met because we're in a line together or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like some of them work for, big companies now, like Sony and IGN, or, they've got like, they were halfway up their journey, and they're, so much further ahead now. But it's like, I met them when they were where I'm at now, sort of thing. And it's just the difference that time makes. And it's the same sort of thing. Like you say, it's like, each year is like you feel like you've kind of done a bit more and you've gone up a step, and that's cool. And the fact that you're planning now, which is great, and that's sort of like it's sort of like I don't know, it's kind of the advice that I give to people a lot of times. Like, plan out ahead. Like you don't have to tell people what you're doing in 6 months, but you should know what you're aiming for at least. You should know now that hey, I want to go to PAX and I want to do X, Y, Z. And that's what I want to do. It might not be what you end up doing, but you should have that aspiration now, because otherwise you turn up and you go, oh shit, I wish I had did this, or I should, and that sort of. And yeah, again, it comes back to that thought of no one really cares like what you're doing. Like you don't have to please everybody as long as you're happy with what you're doing and that sort of stuff. It's cool, and that's really good. And so it's like, and I feel like DreamHack just happening is like such a refresher because so many people went there and like met so many people, and like you mentioned, like the Team OC meetup and stuff like that. That was a big moment for me because there's all these people who you've only ever seen online or seen making content and stuff like that. But then when you have an actual conversation with them in person, it's like, oh, these are just normal people. And they're the same as me and they're doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. They might have 1,000 more followers or whatever. It doesn't matter when you're man to man or whatever. It's like, they're just people. It's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. It was a good moment for me as well. Meeting all the Team OC and like obviously as years go on, things change and seeing so many of those people that we met 2019. Jesus, that's so long ago now when you think about it. They're sort of blown up or doing their thing, which is cool and it's really cool. I did want to go take a quick sort of sidestep and go back a little bit because obviously obviously we talked about like Respawn and stuff like that and with the kind of doors of that stuff open, but now I see a lot of like it's not Twitch WA, it's been renamed now.
Yeah, so we rebranded. So I've been involved in the local streamer content creator community for a long time.
Yeah.
Probably I've been part of it since about 2017-ish as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've been on the team since about 2019 and I've been the lead org from about 2020. Since about COVID. Everybody was like, all right, we got better shit to do. Pav, you got this. Which has been kind of taken over my life as well. It's I feel very strongly about local creators.
I can tell you right now, and I'll get you to continue your thought in a second, but every other state is jealous. I know that for a fact.
It is because I feel so strongly. Like one of my purposes in life is something I tell everybody is like I'm a big advocate for local arts in the Perth scene, the WA scene in general, because we struggle a lot with the brain drain. There's a big stigma for overreach, and I think other states as well. That if you're a talented creator. If you're gonna get any opportunities, you head over east, and because there's all the opportunities there, and it is what it is, and like they've built the infrastructure, they've done all these things to support such a huge network of creators. But like there's people who don't want to move but feel the need to move, which is something like we can benefit from these people being local because there are opportunities that also, and it's not just streaming and content, it's creative industries across the board. And like my mission is just to like do whatever I can in my little space to at least make that a little bit better. Let's try and build like integrated programs with organizations, programs, companies, that sort of stuff, and give people opportunities. And now that we've rebranded from streamers to content creators in general, we've opened up our market, and hopefully we're still in the very early stages, and we got a long way to go. But we've achieved some really cool things in the last couple of years. I'm incredibly proud of us and the team and the community in general. Yeah, and it's I don't know. There's just so many things. It's hard to like put it into words, but like
it's a noble cause. And I actually long time ago I used to, because I moved to Melbourne. I grew up in a tiny little country town. And one of the things that I did at said country town was I joined a youth organization as a mentor, and the whole pitch for that organization was to provide country people, like remote people, the same opportunities that you get from the city, because otherwise everyone just turns 18, gets a car and drives to Melbourne, disappears, and that's it. And the cities just end up being a retirement home, basically. Yeah. And it's like, we have the internet, and there's like, we shouldn't have this limitation of you have to go live in the city to get all these opportunities. And we did pretty well while I was there, but obviously I moved to Melbourne, so I didn't take my own advice. But I feel really strongly for that you shouldn't have to be here in Melbourne to have the same opportunities that, if you can make the same content and you could be as passionate as you can about making something, then it shouldn't matter where you are. And particularly when you're talking Twitch, like Twitch has no borders, no boundaries. It's completely open. So it's very cool what you're doing. And I know from like other states are sort of looking at, wow, WA are just like smashing it. There's events. It feels like every weekend. I know it's not, but it does. It feels like it. There's events going on. Everyone's having a great time, and it's not just meet up here and talk and then leave or not. You know, there's always a bit of purpose, a bit of thought behind it, which is cool. So like I know personally, like I'm talking to Twitch Melbourne, like, hey, can we do some more of that stuff? Like that sounds fun, you know. It's like, and it's really cool to see that kind of taken up. And I do like the name change because I feel like, particularly, and even DreamHack had an element of it where it's like there's a lot of Twitch streamers, but man, there's some YouTubers and they're doing some crazy stuff on YouTube, and you know there are some kick streamers. There's some good ones and some bad ones. There's some good ones. But like even TikTok now, like TikTok has its own creator stuff. So like you can't really, if you want to be a content creation sort of team, you can't sort of
cover
set
everything.
up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we now have members from just about everything as well, which is really cool to see. It's definitely a lot of growth that we expect to see as we start to promote that more. But that has always been the vision. But we definitely got a big force added to it. We collaborated a lot with the Perth YouTuber group as well. And then after a year of doing like almost events together every month, we decided let's combine forces. We become a content creator community. Mix it up, make it one big group. And there's challenges. There's a lot of challenges because it's and there's stuff that I need to figure out how to better integrate members that aren't familiar with like the Twitch culture. And very surprisingly, not something I ever thought I'd spend my time thinking about it, is how to cultivate culture is a very interesting thing, because like any group with a lot of people can host meetups or host events, but it's a matter of cultivating a culture of how you want those people to interact in that space, which is something I'm trying to figure out ongoing how to develop and get better at.
It's challenging, and the more like I do Twitch as a primarily sort of thing, but like I dabble in TikTok, and like TikTok streaming and culture is totally different, and it's so wild when you look at it. The fundamentals should be the same, but it's not, you know. And yeah, how do you mix and match that culture? I don't know the answer. It's like, but it's I don't know. I've kind of in even just like the last sort of 3 to 6 months, I've met so many YouTubers, and I'm like, they are like the chillest people, and like they just work. They're like workhorses because they just go home and they record stuff without talking to chat. They got no chat to talk to. It's just like they're hanging out by themselves, making content, editing it. They're getting it up. They're on a routine. They got schedules and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. I couldn't even think of like that disciplines almost. It's nuts. And then the ones, and then I'll be like, yeah, and I, you know, a couple million views or whatever. I'm like, what? It's like, how? But it's like there's stuff to be learned by bringing those people into into the Twitch community or into any kind of community and saying, hey, these people here, they're smashing it. You know, you guys should talk, because there's stuff to be learned on both sides. And you know, a lot of them will be like, oh, I'd love to do streaming someday or something like that. And you know, there's value in, like, I don't want to say collaboration, but just community is nuts.
Collaboration of information, like information sharing is huge. And that example you just shared, that has happened. That we've seen that happen now. Like we've had a pretty prominent local YouTuber come to one of our like streamer heavy meetups, communicated and had the chats with like a bunch of like streamers, made a bunch of friends, and like now she streams regularly as well as YouTube. It's so good, and it's like awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Look, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but that's part of the reason why we did this podcast, is because it's like we want to share people, and the amount of people that we talk to, and they've got their own story, and they go, oh, this is what worked for me, and this is what didn't work for me, and stuff like that. And there's stuff there for people that are starting out to like listen to and go, oh, well, actually, yeah, I could do that, or you know, I should try that, or do something like that. And it's cool, and yeah, I don't know, it's so interesting. And like, if I was to, you know, take a step back and I go, all right, this is Pavlovaface, right? And then you go, this is the pineapple man. Like, it's like, and he's the hype man. He's the pineapple man. He's, you know, and like just from outside looking in, and like, I know you're a little bit better than that, but but like the people look at you and they'll go, man, what fruit do I want to be assigned? Like you've done really well with like your branding and stuff like that. And I guess a lot of people will go, oh, man, I'd love to know that secret sauce and that sort of stuff. And like a big one for me, and people like without even knowing that maybe I know you or whatever, they'll show me shit and they'll be like, have you seen this guy? You know, and the big one that keeps coming up, for me is like people keep telling me about pineapple grog, right?
Oh my god, dude! I'm astonished at how far that series of content grew out of my head. I don't understand it. It started off as just a dumb joke. I was at Respawn, funnily enough, and they managed to get grog into the bar, and because we're in Perth, no one was expecting grog in the bar, so it's really cool. And we took a bunch of like really cool photos, and I was like, how cool would it be if we had a pineapple flavor? The people who make this are creators. They can appreciate. They would appreciate.
Absolutely.
Tagging them. Let me tell you, they got a few messages regarding pineapple grog.
Someone sent it to me and said pineapple grog's coming, and I'm like, wait, is it?
So here we are. We are at April Fools. The Respawn group. They Photoshop a pineapple grog image, post it on socials. They contact a bunch of creators, a bunch of people to share it. And the reach was, I think, very good.
I'm talking like total strangers, like people I barely know were just like, hey, you like grog? Have you seen the pineapple grog's coming? I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah, look, when it happens, I'm taking complete ownership of.
You should.
Absolutely.
You should. If you're not the MC for the pineapple grog launch party, I mean, they're doing something wrong there. It's honestly...
Well, next time you see Cheddar Max, let them know.
It's so funny, because I just saw it as let's just Pav. He's always pineapples, you know. And they're like, no, pineapple grog is coming. I'm like, oh, are you sure? It's brilliant.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's such a meme. Yeah.
But again, it comes down to like you're leaning into it. Like you're not leaning away from it. You know, like, you're not going no. Because that was so funny. And look, honestly, they should do a pineapple grog. I reckon that'd be fucking delicious. Surely, right?
I'm pretty sure it's going to happen eventually.
Public pressure. How far away from the next April Fools? No.
Well, I've stopped doing my pineapple grog posts now. I got to 100 days. I was like, let's stick it there. I'm quite happy.
I think they got the message.
Got the message. I managed to tell them in person at DreamHack.
I was going to say, did you catch them at DreamHack? And
I called them in person at DreamHack. I was like, I feel like I've done everything I can. Anything more than this just feels necessary. Although I was enjoying the daily interactions. Like people really got behind the message, and like people coming to me, talking to me about pineapple grog more than anything else I do in this space. And it was like, wow, I like the amount of legs that got behind it was really, really interesting, which is why I need to come up with my next campaign. But I can't think of anything that fits just yet.
I mean, maybe it's time to launch an alcoholic beverage, you know? It's I mean, that's...
note this down. It's great to note this down.
I mean, but I mean, if you look at the grog guys, they did so much work on launching that thing. It did such a great job of launching it, and then also getting it into like so many different venues and stuff like you go to their website and you can literally, it'll tell you which stores have it in stock everywhere. And not only that, the product's great. Like, it's fucking delicious. It's
got a fridge full of them.
Like if you have a good product and you have good marketing and you have like a good community behind it, like you're unstoppable. And then you just to insert yourself into there was just amazing. It was perfect. So it's very good. But yeah, it's so funny. It's honestly so funny.
That was good fun.
I've totally blanked on what I was going to say next, but it's yeah.
Some of my most creative content has come out of that grog. Like my dumb Easter video, I ran around my parents' front yard as a grog buddy. That came together in like 5 minutes. I was using the basket and the ears that I stole from my niece. I was like, I'm bringing grog over, and you need to hide it. They hit it hard. I was like, guys, put them around.
It's for content.
It took me 12 minutes to find 6 grogs, and I had to edit that down. I was like, God. But it made for that's probably my favorite video I've ever done.
That was fun. And it's I kind of looked at that ad and this is my thing. I looked at it and said, "Oh, it's a grog ad." I'm like, no, it's not. It's just it's not. It's just. So I mean, it's something that people always ask, like, "Hey, I want to work with like brands and whatever. What do you do?" It's just start making content where you can go, "Hey, that could be you. That could you want your beverage to be my next Easter video?" It's oh man, so funny. And this is the thing, right? And like, if you think back to when you started like Twitch streaming and stuff like that, and then you think now that it's Pineapple Grog, it's hosting gigs, it's hyping gigs, it's fucking making Easter Bunny jokes and stuff like that. Did you ever think that at some point is like, yeah, I'm just gonna get out of my chair, we're gonna go do bits instead because that's I enjoy that, like? Did you ever think that was like the path that you're on, or
not at all?
Nah, not at all.
No, look, I have no idea. Like, as I said, like I really don't have, like, I always have a vision, but the vision has changed so much. Like, my vision from when I started is not the same as now. But like, it's I still to this day still like experience it all. I still can't believe I do. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it's unreal. I'm just having the best time and just vibing with it. I don't know. That's not really answering your question, but
no, that's fine. Something I will bring up, and it's kind of a bit of a tradition, and it's becoming more of a tradition for the podcast in particular. And the reason for that is that we've been recording for about 5-6 months now for this podcast, and at DreamHack, because there was so many creators, I'm like, there's no way I can just pick one person to do an episode at DreamHack. I'm like, so I brought back 3 creators who have been previously on the show. And the reason I brought back these particular 3, not just because they were going to DreamHack, but because at the end of each episode, we sort of ask, hey, what's your sort of aspirations? What's your goals? What's the next step sort of thing? Mm-hmm. And in this case, these 3 people in their episodes, all their aspirations came true. So it's manifesting at this point where we go, hey, if we want to put some legs on this stuff, if you say, I want to do X, Y, Z on the podcast, there's a very good chance it's going to come through because the win ratio is pretty high at the moment.
Okay.
So so when we talk about goals and aspirations and stuff, like what's big ones? What's the ones where you go, damn?
I'll share with you one. It's been on my bucket list a while, ever since I started like getting into the emceeing space and doing more presenting.
Yeah.
There was one thing I added to my bucket list as an unrealistic goal.
Okay.
I always now that the further along it's gone, it's been I can see it being more of an achievable goal, but I still don't know a way into it yet. But I've always said I want to host something at for telethon, which is So I'll tell I don't know telethons across the state, across all of Australia. It's just they do individual states, but I want to host something at telethon, and I think that's a really big achievement that I would for myself, and it's something that really means a lot to me as well, which is like supporting a cause like that. And that's something that's been my. I started off as like a big unrealistic goal when I started, but now it's coming closer, and it's been on my bucket list a few years now. And
not like a cameo thing, like be the man,
At least host, at least host something, because I know they do lots of segments, and at least host something. Yeah,
look, yeah. I mean, that's I can see what you mean. It's that's in a weird space where like things could go that way. But at this, like, if you said right now, probably not. But like, it's like, but because it's also because you also because they usually bring on like I don't want to say like B grade celebrities, but they're celebrities in some fashion. Like they'll be from a TV show or a musician or whatever. Like, but they're kind of starting to do more like influencers and like
community stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So if they keep leaning in that direction, then your chances sort of you're in there.
I like honestly, I think I now. I can see it in the distance. I just need to figure out the pathway. But
you got to find an in. Yeah.
I'm very hopeful. It's been on the list.
It's a good dream. It's a good one. That's I respect that because I have this I have this kind of weird thing where everything that I kind of aimed for originally, I went in the other direction, and now there's other targets over this side. I'm like, this would be cool or interesting or whatever. But like, there's always that you know, I'd love to do that sort of thing there, which is, yeah, it's cool. Well, you know, it's manifesting.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I'm going to take all the credit and
Make it happen. I'll appreciate it. I would have said the other one was to do some sort of presentation, present or hosting internationally. But I may have just got my first international gig, so flying out next weekend. But it's a very, very small commitment on my part. But I get
hey, mate,
go to another country, and
that doesn't sound small at all, to be honest.
As in, like, my piece of the puzzle is pretty small, very fortunate. But I've been given the opportunity to go over to another event overseas and do some content around there, and
that is awesome. That is awesome. And it's, man, I think for me, like I think that's like, you know, the moment when I go, oh shit, I've done it, would be when someone's like, yeah, we'll fly you out of the country. I think that's like, fuck, I've done something right here. You know, like it's surely, because it's not a small thing. So no, that's impressive.
Definitely some good luck in my favor has happened as well. But I'm taking whatever I can, just riding the wave as long and as well as I can. I
think that's a good piece of advice as well. It's just like, sometimes you will get opportunities where you go, are you sure you're talking to the right person? No.
Yeah, no, honestly, it really is. Like, there's fighting the
imposter syndrome.
And fighting the imposter syndrome is real hard, especially when I don't. Yeah, no, I was about to define imposter syndrome, but yeah, it's literally just
it's literally, are you talking to the right person? It's literally the simplest way. And the thing, and the advice is, don't ask that. Just do it. Just say yes. Yeah. Just assume that you're the right person. And the amount of times where I've been like in events and stuff like that and gone, I shouldn't be here, but it's great. And you know, it's just saying yes to things that you know and stuff like that. And we had Fid from Original Geek on one of the episodes, and one of the things he said was like, and kind of stuck with me, like, if you get asked, if you know, given an opportunity and you know you can do it and you want to do it and it's kind of scary, it's probably the right thing to do. If you just say no to things, then you know, you never know what you're missing out on. Where, you know, if you can do it and it's something you want to do, if it's scary, it's probably the right thing to do, and go do it and give it a try. And it stuck with me, because the amount of stuff where I go, oh yeah, that sounds great or whatever, and then it's like, what the fuck is happening? But you just kind of stick with it. And it's amazing. And like, I think that like a big moment for that for me recently, and I take Shelby along, because you know Shelby gets dragged along to these things. But I got an email, and the email said, hey, there's a new movie coming out, stars Eric Bana, blah, blah, blah. I said, I love Eric Bana. Yeah, I'll come to this. I didn't read the rest of the email. I just read that bit and went, yeah, sounds great. No, yeah, the rest of the email said that you will be with Eric Bana. It's like, we turned up and they gave us like these special lanyards. And it's like, oh, this is the global premiere for the movie and Eric Bana's here. And we're all sitting with the cast and crew of the movie. And I'm just like, we shouldn't be here. Like, this is like, I love Eric Bana. I know nothing about the movie. I know nothing about anything else. But we sat there with, awesome. It was like, and I was just sitting there. I'm just like, this is wild. And like, people next to me are talking about what days shoots they did and stuff like that. And I'm like, we're literally sitting with the people that made the movie. And I have no idea. I have no idea why I got invited. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. But I just said yes to it all and got to go watch a movie with the cast and crew that made the movie. And it was wild. It was fantastic. Like, it was really good. Like, I had such a great time. But yeah, I just felt so out of place. And like, I don't know. I hope that I did the right thing for whoever put me on that list. But, you know, I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. But, and I feel like it's just a matter of grabbing those opportunities and running with it. You know, in the same way that, you know, they asked you to do a trivia night at a bar, and look what that spun into. So it's like, it's that grabbing those opportunities and running with it, which is very cool. So let's just quickly, I just want to go, and I'm mindful that we are running up on time, but like, for people, and I know it's going to be very hard for you to sort of articulate, but like people that want to do more events hosting, which is one thing that you see a lot of people saying, hey man, I want to host a panel, I want to, you know, host events and stuff like that. What is like the thing that you feel like that people need to sort of start working on?
the internalized advice that I gave myself is don't expect people to give you the opportunities. Make the opportunities for yourself.
Okay.
And that may not work for everyone. Maybe that was just something I was fortunate enough to be able to push for myself. But maybe do like presentations on your stream or the content you're doing, like maybe make a joking presentation about
That's good.
a fun
Yeah.
topic, and then that showcases your presentation skills. Something I did was I started working for a trivia company, and I did bar trivia every week for about 6 months to like build up that skill, and then I got a few gigs out of that as well. And it's just like the end goal is not the next goal always. It's not always the next goal. So like try and figure out what you can do for yourself to make yourself more enticing to get opportunities as well. I think that's something that I try to do myself, and that's why every opportunity I have, I try to learn as much as I can to make myself better for the next one. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe that's good advice. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's
No, that's great advice.
But
That's great advice, and particularly when you say like, hey, use what you got now. If you're streaming, then do trivia night on stream or something like that, or like test material. I always test material with my and it's usually just dumb jokes and stuff like that. I'll be like, that's pretty funny actually. It's it's pretty good. And like I'm working on I'm involved with a few panels for PAX, but I'm working on like a personal sort of panel, I guess. And I've already sort of just started like testing material with friends and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, will this hit? Or is this kind of like is it a dumb joke that only I think is funny, or it's like, how does this work? So it is good advice. I think that's solid advice. And yeah, and I've been to a few pub trivia nights, and hosting those isn't no easy feat. So.
Well, more than hosting, that's some pub trivia is where I learned a lot of audience engagement and audience interactions, because it's like less about presenting the information and more about manage. Especially, I got sent to one of the rowdiest sports bars and had to encourage them to play trivia instead of watching the game that they came.
Oh my god!
And the few that I got them over were just shitting on me the whole time, and like learning to manage that, because like that's their humor, that's valid, that's what they wanted to enjoy their night. That's fair. It's not me to then direct them to like, this is how I want you to enjoy the night. It's trying to navigate those social interactions is something that has helped a lot with crowd work somehow as well.
Yeah,
especially with smaller crowds. Bigger crowds, I guess it's not a problem because they're there to see, but anyway.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I respect that, and it's something and something that I learned with particularly like PAX and stuff like that. And when I talked to the PAX crew about panels and stuff, because I did the VTuber panel last year, and one of the things was like involve the crowd, like make them another panelist on there, get them talking. It's good to have a noisy, rowdy bunch of people because you keep that energy up, and then anything could go wrong on stage as long as everyone's having a good time. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, and I've always sort of lived with that. And like I did a panel at DreamHack, and a lot of that was just like just getting the audience involved and stuff like that. And it's so funny because I did like a trivia sort of thing, but it's like a trivia battle thing. But the twist is that there are no bloody rules, and we just made it all up, right? So it's just a heap of banter between creators and whatever. But then like I put up, we did Family Feud. And I put up 100 people surveyed said that these are the sexiest video game characters. And then I just made it up so that the audience were like yelling at people. I'm like, no, not on the list. Like, what? Outrage. And I felt physically threatened at one point that they were going to mob me because none of the fan favorites were on the list.
Oh, that's the best.
They were talking about it for ages afterwards, and then people were like, "How'd you get the list so wrong?" I said, "I did it deliberately." It's like it's engagement. It's what they were passionate about telling me how wrong I was. So it was really good, but it's that, and like it's just building on stuff that I've learned from previous panels and stuff like that, where it's like and an audience member that feels like they're part of it. It's such a different vibe to. I've done the educational panels and stuff before, and there is a place for that kind of stuff, mental health or building up relationships in the streaming space and collaboration. All that stuff's really important, whatever, but it's almost feels like talking to or talking at someone, where you really want them to be like, hey, I was a part of this panel. You know, they said that Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie is the hottest character on the internet. It's like, you know, it was so funny. It was so good. It was such a different vibe, and I loved it. So it's I get what you mean by like crowd work and stuff like that, and I encourage anyone who's listening to this, even if you're working on like a panel idea or stuff like that, work on bringing the audience in some capacity, whether or not be like some kind of like a giveaway or like something they can win if they, you know, whatever. It's just something that they could take away, or something you can sort of bounce around within the audience, no matter how boring or basic your idea is. Just involve the people in there. You know, it's I don't know. It's so many panels that I see, and I'm like, it's good, but like we just need to, like, people pay money and fly to Melbourne to go to PAX. You know, make it worth their while. It's pretty much my vote. And then, I mean, yeah, I don't need to tell you because you're the hype man. So it's, but yeah, it's good. So if anything, just copy what Pav's doing, and you'll be it'll be good. But yeah, so we do need to wrap things up shortly. But so just quickly, where can people find you? You know, where they find your content? Like, do you want to give yourself a bit of a spruik on?
Yeah. So my name is Pavlovaface, and that is my handle across all the socials. You also find me hosting centralized streams for local community tournaments and events on the Watch socials. That's WACCH. It's Watch Now is the tag. On all their socials as well. And you also find me across Pixel Expo's space as well.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Pixel Expo, but I'm heavily involved with the Pixel Expo community.
Pixel Expo is the PAX of the West, is what they say.
PAX of the West is what some people say, and I'm telling you, it does deliver. It does deliver. I guess I'm biased, but it's a fantastic event.
It's okay to be biased. I mean, it's like and to my point, and to you know, we've sort of talked about it. Yes, Melbourne's great and has a lot of things, but you know, the internet has no borders, and you can connect with a lot of people. And if you do live in WA and Perth, and you're a creator, and you look at going to Melbourne, go, damn, that's gonna hurt my wallet. Then yeah, maybe hanging out with these guys and connect up with these other creators, and you'll find some opportunities that are a little bit closer to home and a little bit more cost effective. But yeah, it's fantastic. We'll chuck all links and stuff in the bio anyway. So if you are chasing that, you can go follow and do all that sort of stuff. And if you have been listening to or watching this podcast up until this point, please leave us a like. If you leave us a comment, maybe suggest someone else that we should get on the show. I will reach out to them. They might say yes, they might say no, they might say nothing. It happens. I'll absolutely reach out to them, because we're all about sort of finding more creators and telling more creative stories along the way. But thank you, Pav, for the chat. I feel like this has just been a great catch up. And
I know, it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and then when they launch that pineapple grog, you know, you send me an invite. I'll come to that launch party, even if it's
going to happen. It's going to happen. Actually, when it launches, I'm telling them, I want to message them. I was like, I want to host a pineapple grog party.
Yes,
it's gonna happen.
Yes.
I want to.
It's gonna happen.
Legitimately. It's on my,
all right. It's been manifested. Actually, we've manifested it right here.
That's my other goal. Pineapple grog party. That's it. That's the one.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.